Hello, hello, hello. This message isn't for everybody, but I just had to have my own little rant today because of my coaching and counseling and just listening to so many stories. And even in my own family, I'm understanding how so many people are suffering in silence. Yes, on the landscape of America in this world, there's a lot of tension, a lot of anger, a lot of injustice, a lot of waiting, a lot of praying. But on a personal level, there are people fighting so many battles. And I began to ask God, I thought I was supposed to be teaching all the time about goal setting and vision boards. And you can make it, and you can have what you can name and claim it. And I started to realize that I was shifting because God was exposing me to so many people that were going through so much emotional pain, mental pain. And even 1 year after my son died in my arms from cancer, I wrote a book, I Am Resilient. And that's easy to say, but it's not easy to do. We throw these words around like, get over it, be resilient, and count your blessings. And yes, we should do all that, but it's definitely a process. And I remember reading a book where the author said that if we're either going to have a breakdown or we're going to be broken open. I think her name was Elizabeth Lesser. That phrase has always stuck with me because I don't want to break down, but I have been broken open. And I don't know about you, but when you're broken open, you realize, oh my God, you feel the anger, you feel the rage, you feel the sorrow, you feel the grief, you feel the shock, you feel the loss. You realize what you do not have control over. And so I don't want to be one of those that just says, get over it, or you're not praying hard enough, or just be resilient, because it is a process. And I don't know who's watching right now that's realizing that there's some realities in your life that you have to deal with. In my coaching, I'm coming across a very common story where so many women are coming to me and they're sharing with me how they have to come to grips. They had to come to a reality that either they were taking care of an elder parent, they hadn't planned on it, it was unexpected, it's taxing, or they're asking me for support because, Jewel, I cannot deal with this parent that is narcissistic, controlling, manipulative. Jewel, what do I do? Because this person is playing with my emotions. This person is playing the guilt game, and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to draw the boundaries. They don't know how to emotionally distance themselves from a parent that they feel should be nurturing and emotionally healthy and available. And I remember when I worked at the Carson Sheriff Station years ago in my life before being a speaker, there would be children brought in that had been abused by their parents, neglected by their parents. And it always amazed me that those children would cry because they wanted to go back home. And it was perplexing. Like, why would a child want to go back to an unhealthy, unsafe, unloving environment? It's because that's all they know. That's mama. That's daddy. So it doesn't surprise me now that I'm dealing with adults who are saying, I don't know why I can't let go. I don't know why I continue to let this mother or this father continue to abuse me, use me, lie to me, manipulate me, play with my emotions. And they're like, why am I doing this? And I said, I know you wouldn't let anybody else do it, but you're letting your parent do it, or you're letting your child do it. And I know that's a very hard thing to process and navigate and figure out. What is my capacity? What am I going to tolerate? When am I going to stop answering the phone? When am I going to stop loaning money? When am I going to stop being an easy target? When am I going to stop feeling so ashamed or feeling guilty? It is a challenge for so many people. Because, parenting is one of the hardest jobs in the world, and everybody's not meant to be a parent. And whatever people are experiencing, it didn't start with them, and it didn't start with their parent. It was that parent and the parent before them. And a lot of it is generational. But yet, it doesn't take away from the fact that people are suffering, and they're stuck and they're feeling sad and they're feeling overwhelmed and they're feeling hopeless. Like, what am I supposed to do? That's my mom. That's my dad. That's my child. But you know that person is addicted, or that person is mentally ill, or that person is narcissistic, that person is controlling, that person is selfish, that person is out of control. And yet you are having what we call, you're trauma bounded. You're bounded by trauma. And I was telling someone the other day that I was working with, I said, your mother's never hit you, but you're still experiencing abuse. Based on what you're sharing with me, it's a form of abuse. It's emotional abuse. And we need to start recognizing those things. We need to start talking about those things. I had no idea that in all the years that I've been speaking and teaching, that God was guiding me towards this particular wheelhouse of empowerment and counseling and coaching and talk therapy. Because so many people are ashamed. They don't know how to talk about it. They don't know how to address it. And so what happens is a lot of times the people who are seeking me for help and therapy and counseling is because the people they're dealing with are not seeking help and counseling and therapy. Or because the person that they're taking care of, that elder person that is sick with dementia or Alzheimer or cancer or old age or mental issues or whatever, now this person finds themselves as a caregiver and they're wearing thin. So again, I don't know who needs this message, but I would say to you, stop, look, and listen. I would say to you, pray the serenity prayer. Lord, help me to have the courage. Lord, help me to have wisdom. Lord, help me to have serenity. Lord, help me with the things I cannot change, and give me courage to change the things I can, and let me have the wisdom to know the difference. And I find that my own personal struggle is recognizing the people and the circumstances I have no control over, that I cannot fix, that I cannot change, because that's kind of inherent in me, wanting to always fix and rescue and help and solve. But I tell you, I can't lose my peace. I can't lose my joy. I can't lose my way. I can't get sick. I can't get all twisted and break down, but I can be broken open. And as I break open, all of the stress, all of the anger, all of the sorrow oozes out. You know, when you've lost a loved one like I have, I've lost parents, I've lost sons, I've lost aunts, I've lost uncles, I've lost friends. And you keep going and you keep going and you think, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. And we put on that smile. But until we have a chance to sit down and talk with somebody and work it out, that relationship that didn't work out, the home that you lost, the job that you lost, the family member that you lost, your self-image that you lost because of the job or the business being closed down from the pandemic. We're living in a time where people do have access because of social media, because of YouTube, because of all this technology. We have access to information. We have access to realize that we're not alone, but we want to get the tools. And that's basically what I do, is I am a resource for those that say, you know what, I feel I'd be safe with her. You know what, I need to talk about it. Because I tell you, every time I have these sessions, and I could just hear this sigh of relief, like, oh my God, thank you. I got to speak my truth, that I don't get along with my parent, or I don't get along with my child. I got to speak my truth, that I kept going even though I lost a loved one, and I had to keep going, and I hid and suppressed my pain. I had to keep going even though I'm financially struggling, even though I'm feeling overwhelmed or underwhelmed. People are realizing they've got to get some help. They've got to get some support. They need to be able to exhale and be able to share so that they can breathe, so that they can get centered and find their joy, so that they can begin to understand they're not the only one. But I know when we are broken open, it could be messy, it could be very difficult to accept your reality. What is your reality? What is it that you're running from? What is it that you don't want to deal with? How are you bargaining with God? God, if you fix this, I promise I'll do that. What has shut you down? What has isolated you? What's going on in your mind making you feel like you should be ashamed or you should feel guilty for what you're dealing with or the people you're dealing with in your life? I want you to think about that. I want you to think about calling me or emailing me. In this pandemic, I have gotten so many calls. People are saying, will you talk to my daughter? Will you talk to my niece? Will you talk to my mom? Will you talk to so-and-so? Because people are saying, because of this pandemic, a lot of issues have surfaced. People have had time to think. People have time to reflect. People are home. People are in close proximity with family members. People are breaking up. And some relationships are getting stronger. But the point I'm trying to make today is you may not be able to overcome what you're dealing with, but you've got to come to grips. You've got to come to reality so that you know what you need to do next. And once we accept our reality, then we can ask God, what is my next step? What do I need to do next? You can ask those that you trust. What do you think I should do next? This is what I'm really dealing with my finances. This is what I'm really dealing with my mom or my dad. This is what I'm really dealing with my children. This is what I'm really dealing with my job or even my own health. And I don't want to break down, but I'm willing to be broken open to understand what's going on inside of my mind, what's going on inside my thoughts, what's going on inside of my body. Because you know the longer you hold it in, it starts to affect your body, your health. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You're agitated. You're driving too fast. You're losing the keys. You're snapping at everybody. So thank you for listening. And won't you hit the share button and share this video message with others? I would really appreciate that. I tell you, I've got some things coming down the line that I want you to be a part of, and I'm going to be asking you again and again for your support. I'm going to be asking you to share whatever you see me posting on my social media platforms. I'm going to be asking you that. I'm not going to assume that you know, but it's very important that you share these messages, okay? And all the information on how to reach me is being provided. God bless you. And stay in the light.